morning, everybody, and welcome back to your energy forecast for this week. And as I was saying, as I'm saying that I drop a card on the floor, death and rebirth. Okay, so this looks like that's the theme for this week in general. I asked for this reading this week to be quite to the point, and Spirit never disappoints. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's take a card out for the beginning of the week. And let's see what comes up for us as a collective. What energetic weather is here? We have the Empress. Okay, so now bear in mind, this is the card that fell out. It's death and rebirth. So this card is talking about coming out of the dark into the light. It talks about change. And of course, change is never comfortable. And that's exactly what this month of November has been about. We've been in full-on Scorpio season. And let's be real, it hasn't exactly been gentle. I'm sure a lot of you can agree that we've all been triggered a hell of a lot. We've all faced a lot of our shadow, a lot of unhealed parts of ourselves, a lot of the parts of ourselves that we deny or that we don't like dealing with. So we would have been easily triggered. Also feeling a bit down, a bit low, a bit depressed, and like we were in the dark, right? Now, Spirit is likening this to being in a cocoon. It's dark in there. We feel constricted. We feel stuck. We feel trapped. We feel like we're dying, like this is never going to end. But remember, it's a cocoon. So we're changing, expanding, growing, and evolving. And now this card tells us we're coming out of that dark and into the light, which makes a hell of a lot of sense because we're going into Sagittarius season today, tomorrow, okay? And Sagittarius energy is all about action, fire, drive. It's like the sun coming out after a period of dark, right? So death and rebirth is exactly what we're going through now as a collective. Okay, so that's the one that fell out, which means it's an important message. Now, the energy for the beginning of the week, the weather we have, energetic weather, is the Empress. Now, if you look at this lady, she's pregnant. It's Mother Earth. And this card speaks about nurturing, love, caring, expansion as well, creativity, and birthing something new. And Spirit is saying none of us are exempt from this. Doesn't matter what we believe, what we don't believe. We're all being reborn anew, right? Spirit is showing it like this. It's like as a collective, we've come out of a big storm. And storms we don't really enjoy very much. They can be frightening. They can be destructive. But it's a hell of a clearing. So we're coming out of a purging, clearing, death of our old self. So you would have even experienced a death in the physical as well. As in maybe you let go of a job that was no longer serving you. Maybe you let go of a relationship that was no longer serving you. Maybe you even let go of thought patterns that were no longer serving you, right? So you've let that go, which now reveals the new, more empowered, stronger, better version of yourself. So this card, now I'm hearing the word fertility. So right now we're very fertile in a lot of areas of our lives, right? So we can start to expect all sorts of new coming through. And Spirit is saying this is linked to the new moon eclipse, which is, I think, a week and some change from now. I love eclipses. They're not always easy, but eclipses are game changers. They cause us to level up, if not by will, then by force, which is the part we don't always like very much. But yeah, we're experiencing a lot of change and we are being reborn anew. So whatever you've released, let go of, worked through, purged, you can expect something new and beautiful now to take that place, as well as you becoming the next best version of yourself, like I said. Okay, beautiful, stunning. Okay, now let's get some wisdom from the wisdom of the Oracle for the beginning of this week. And let's see what comes up. What wisdom and guidance. I'm torn between two here. Bugger it, I'll take both. Okay, the first one is the fates. Now, fate, there's a difference between fate and destiny, right? Fate is something that we do not have any control over. Okay, so let's use an example. Let's say you've recently let go of a relationship that was no longer serving you. It had become toxic to your soul. You've let go. Okay, now the fate, as it were, will orchestrate, if you will, a meeting. So you'll meet somebody new that you can't avoid. That's fate. Okay. Now, destiny is based on what you choose to do with that relationship. Destiny is what we have control over. We have a choice over that. Fate, we don't. Okay. So fate brings you a new person, and destiny is, well, maybe I should get to know this person. Maybe I should see, where it goes. Okay. That's destiny. So fate, and Spirit is saying right now, fate is benevolent, thank goodness. So there's some good stuff that is fated to come our way in the beginning of this week. And it is to do with that fertility, that abundance, that growth, that re-emerging from the cocoon. There's good stuff coming. So keep an open mind about that. And the card, that other one I felt drawn to take is happy, happy. Okay. So please note the egg. And there's a little keyhole in there. Okay. So this is about embracing. Oh, this is a good one. Spirit is saying embracing your happiness. Okay. So it's almost like as a collective, we've decided, nah, I don't deserve that anymore. I don't deserve that way of thinking, that way of being, that group of people, that job, that's the old me. I don't deserve that anymore. I'm now saying yes to my happiness because I've changed. Okay. You've changed. We've changed. So now we get to say yes to what brings us joy and what makes us happy. Spirit is using the words, the pursuit of happiness. That's the way to live. Okay, that is the way to live. Do what feels good. Do what brings you joy, because that's always the right path. Okay, never do anything out of a sense of duty or out of obligation, because that's not coming from the right energy, if that makes sense. You're bringing fear energy into what you're doing. And whenever you bring fear energy in, nobody benefits in the end. Okay? So do what brings you joy. Thank you. Follow your bliss, because that's what life is about. We're meant to follow our bliss. That is our natural state, believe it or not. Okay? Beautiful. Okay. Now let's see what guidance is here from the keepers of the light. I haven't used this deck in a while, and it just grabbed me. I felt like we all needed to hear from this deck this morning. Okay, let's see what guidance is here for the beginning of the week. Wow, we have the Holy Spirit. It says expect miracles. It says remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally, and Spirit has your back. Okay, so with this card, I'm hearing dream big, because we've been through so much as we have. Okay, we've let go a hell of a lot, and now as we let go, we make space. We create an empty space, and as we know, the universe does not like a void. The universe does not do an empty space very well. Okay, wherever there's an empty space or a void, it will get filled with something. And that's just how nature works. Like if you look outside in nature and there's a hole in the ground, or if you live in South Africa, a nice pothole, okay, there'll be something in that pothole. There'll be stones, leaves, sticks. There's something in there. And that's just because that's how nature works. So there's no such thing as an empty space. If it is empty, believe you me, something will come along very soon and fill it. But before we get filled up, we need to make space. And that's what November this month has been all about, is making space for what we really want and what we really deserve. But the struggle comes in with letting go, okay? A lot of us don't like change. A lot of us don't like to let go. A lot of us prefer the devil that we know rather than the devil that we don't, okay? So, they reminded me of a saying, and I can never get the wording right, so I need to look it up. Just one moment, please. Your call is very important to us. Let's see. I need to find this quote, because I actually want this quote as a tattoo, because it's been the story of my life. Let me just find it. It's a beautiful saying. It says, And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. And that's by Anaine. And can we just take a moment and ponder that? Because this is exactly what this month has been about. It's about realizing that what we want, where we want to go, the people we want to be, the pain, the risk of that is less painful than what we've been enduring and putting up with up until this point. That's what this card is all about. And that's what this card is all about. Okay? Letting go of the past, letting go of the concept of who we were and the nonsense that we were putting up with. We've let that go. We've released a hell of a lot of that. Okay? Now we can expect the good stuff. Now we can expect some miracles to come through. And Spirit is saying, let yourself be a willing and open receiver of these miracles by getting out of your own way. Okay? In other words, don't tell the universe, it can only be like this, or I only want it like that, and I want it now. Okay? Set your intention for whatever it is that you want to experience. In other words, let's say if you want a brand new car, let's say, don't be too specific, but be specific about the way you want to feel in it. Like, in other words, say to the universe, all right, I really, really need a new car. It must feel comfortable. It must feel safe. It must accommodate all of us. It must be completely secure. And then so that's your main deal breakers, like that's what you want. And then you can get to the finer stuff. Then you can say it must have aircon, or it must have a sunroof, or whatever, because it's going to benefit me in that I need to be cool in my car because we live in Durban and it's hell hot here. And I need a sunroof for light. Okay? So be specific about what you want, in the sense where you're specific about how you want to feel in it and how it's going to serve you. Okay, set your intentions, and then you take a step back and you get out of the universe's way. And how you do that is you put it out there. Okay, you let your friends, family know you're looking for a car. You go on the internet and you search. And then you have fun with it. You go look at your different options. Okay, and then eventually the one that is right for you will feel comfortable. It will feel right. You won't feel uncomfortable or uneasy in that vehicle, okay? That's how you manifest. That's how you bring in the good that you want, okay? To replace what the negative beliefs and the negative, whatever it is that you've been experiencing before. You've made space now. Now you can expect the good stuff. Yay! Okay. Now let's see, what do we need to surrender this week in order to expect the miracles to come through? How can we further make space, and how can we further be a magnet for what it is that we truly want to experience? What do we need to surrender in order to do that? This one pops out. Just saying this. Surrender your attachment to results. Okay? Don't tell the universe how it needs to work out. It says the formula for success is to do all you can to make things happen. Then let go of the results. Holding on too tightly to a desired outcome can sabotage it. Okay? The analogy Spirit is giving me for this is they always show it to me like an arrow, a bow and an arrow. Okay? So you know what you want, you know what miracle you'd like to experience. That's equivalent of you holding an arrow and you're pointing at your target. Your target is your goal, the miracle that you want. So you pull the arrow back, okay? And then you aim and then you let go, right? Now, you don't now think, oh shit, now is the arrow going to reach the target? So you go along and you catch the arrow and you guide it. That's controlling, okay? That's being attached to the results. Now, what happens when you grab the arrow and you guide it to where it needs to go? You slow the bloody thing down. You slow it down and you exert this effort in running towards the target that the arrow needs to get to, okay? You pull the arrow back and you let it go in full faith that the wind, the air, Spirit, will guide it to where it needs to be, as well as the energy you put in, that kinetic energy into the arrow, that your intention is letting it go. Ooh, like you let it go and off it goes, okay? So that's what surrendering your attachment to the results means, okay? The universe is quite clever, knows what it's doing. Okay, we don't need to tell it what to do. We just need to say what we want and take action as we feel guided and let go of the results. Okay. All right, let's have a look look midweek. What energy is here? What is the energetic weather going to be like midweek? This one. Can't make this shit up. Okay, the Fool. Okay, now the Fool doesn't mean fool, right? Doesn't mean idiot. It means new beginnings. It means taking a risk, taking a leap. Like if you look at this, we get this card quite a bit. So if you look at this lady, she's wanting to jump into that sacred pool that's nice and cool and refreshing. And so all this beautiful sacred geometry here, okay? This represents potential, okay? So you're wanting to step into the new, your new life, your new beginnings, the sacredness of it all. But she's holding on to the familiar. She's holding on to that stick like, I don't know if I should do this, but we cannot get in there until we let go of this. And what makes it easier to let go of this is to trust our intuition. That amethyst that she's holding, that's what that represents. It's our intuition. Our intuition knows, right? Our intuition is the part of us that's connected to source eternally. And our intuition will always say, go here, or want this, or do that. Right? And intuition is always calm and gentle. Trust that. Don't hang on to the familiar of, oh, well, it'll never work out because it's never worked out before, or I'm just being ridiculous. That's the familiar. That's not a nice feeling, is it? Remember that whole risk little quote that I just read? I don't have the memory to actually remember it, but you get my point, okay? The risk of going here outweighs the risk of staying in the familiar. Okay, so it's time for the new. Jump in and trust the process. That's midweek. Okay, so what guidance is here from the wisdom of the oracle for midweek? Okay, let's see what comes out. Midweek energy. Fork in the road. Fork in the road. Now, if you look at this pole, there's all sorts of arrows pointing in different directions. So this card means it's time to make a decision, okay? So we're all about the new this week. We're being reborn. We're going forward. Now we must make a decision, okay? Now, decisions, the best way to make a decision is to always make the decision that brings you the most peace, okay? So making a decision is the equivalent of trying on your potential experience in your mind, okay? Always try it on and see how it feels, because your body is a very accurate barometer of the truth, okay? Your body is like a walking pendulum. It tells you exactly what is going to be right for you and what is not. So feel into your options. Feel into what it is that you want to create next. And if it brings you a sense of peace, joy, bliss, happiness, that's a correct choice. And the opposite is also true, okay? If you try on a choice and it makes you feel niggly in your stomach and you feel nauseous and it feels uncomfortable and it's, then it's a no. Simple as that, okay? But it's got to be what brings you peace. Not peace for Susie and John down the road. You. This is your choice. It's your decision to step into the new, but you must decide what kind of new you would like. Again, shooting the arrow, trusting the process. Stunning. Okay, so now let's ask for further elaboration from the Keepers of the Light for middle of the week, please. This one, we have the goddess is Bridget. It's inner strength. Move back to wholeness. Recognize that you have the power. Okay, so in other words, this new that you're wanting to experience, this new way of life, new way of being, whatever it is that's new, they're saying you can do it. You've got the strength to do that. You've got what it takes to do that, because if what you want feels good, feels right, then it wants you too. Okay, meaning there's a very good energetic match here. Energy is everything, and energy is loud. Okay, when we tune into it, that's why I always advise my clients to feel into their decisions. How does it feel? Okay, so you have the strength to go forward and step into the new. You've got this. You're confident. Don't underestimate the person that you have become. You are ready for the new that is in front of you. Trust the process. Okay, now what do we need to surrender in order to know which decisions to make? What do we need to surrender in order to know what decisions to make? What do we need to surrender? Hey, surrender resentment. We get this card a lot, okay? Now it says, holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward towards positive situations in your life, okay? Now, when I ask Spirit, how is resentment relevant to this? This would be blaming others, So in other words, whenever we want to move forward, do something new, blah, blah, as I've been saying, okay, we can't bring resentment into that, attached to the past, okay? So we can't think, okay, well, I want to go forward, but I couldn't go forward before because of Mary and John down the road, okay? We can't blame other people. We can't. Yes, other people might have done us wrong, etc., but we can no longer blame, because we put blame, then we hold no accountability and we hold no responsibility for our part in that scenario. Please don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying that it's all your fault that your life went the way that it did. No, sometimes people do us in, they do us wrong. It happens, okay? But what did we learn? Okay, what did we learn? Did we learn not to do that again? Did we learn maybe not to people please? Did we learn, because Spirit is saying a big theme here for us this week is it's all about us now, okay? It's all about you, and it's all about what you want and what you want to experience. It's your life. Remember, you're the architect of your life. You decide how it's going to go down, okay? So therefore, release resentment to do with the past. Take complete ownership of your life and commit to what it is that you want to experience next. And there's no room for resentment in there. When we throw resentment in there, it's like throwing a spanner in the works, and then it just all goes to hell. Okay, so let's have a look now for the end of the week. Going into the weekend, what energetic weather is here for us? Friday and the weekend, we have 6 of Pentacles. Now, if you look at those two hands, they're sharing money, okay? So this card is very much a money-orientated card. And here I'm hearing Spirit say support, okay? Now, what stops a lot of us from pursuing dreams and goals? Money. Okay, because we always think, I'd love to do this, I want to do that, I want to, but I don't have the money. The money is not your problem, okay? The money is not even yours to begin with, okay? Money comes from source. Money is ever present, it's ever moving, it's always there. And the amount of money you have at any given point in time is directly proportionate to how much that you actually believe that you deserve. Okay, your bank account is as big as you allow it to be and as big as you expect it to be. So Spirit is saying here loudly with this one, keep the faith. Okay, so if you want to bring something big and new into your life, whether it's a new car, a new house, or whatever it is that you're wanting to experience, the financial support will be there for you to do that. Don't make decisions when you have the money, because that money might never come. Okay, money is never the goal. Okay, this is a big deal. It sounds very controversial. Money is not the goal. Money is side effect, okay, of doing what we love, doing our work with passion, doing everything with just such joy and such a feeling of service. So we bring energy, okay? We make decisions, we look at our goals, we put it out into the universe, we take action towards our goals, then the money comes, okay? It's our intention that makes the first domino fall, right? And then in the end, we get what we need, right? So Spirit is talking about this weekend, getting what we need in order to support this new life, these new beginnings, these new things that we want to experience. And I'm hearing Spirit say, trust, and to remember that miracles happen every day, okay? Reminds me of a saying, it was from one of the Men in Black movies. It went something like this. A miracle is something that seems impossible, but happens anyway, Okay? Expect miracles and you'll see them. Also, to be a magnet for more miracles would be every day, count them. Count the little miracles in your day. This is how you shift your vibration as well, okay? Every day, wake up and think, what a miracle that I woke up. What a miracle that my body works. What a miracle that I can see, hear, whatever it is. What a miracle. What a miracle that there's another day. What a miracle that the sun came up. I mean, the odds are probably slim that the sun would have fallen out of the sky sometime during the night, but the point is that miracles happen all the time. When you notice the little miracles that we take for granted every day, we start to attract more miracles. And it's not because we're more aware of them that we notice them. No, it's we start to attract them, okay? And Spirit is reminding us that when it comes to miracles, there's no difference in size. There's no, to the universe now, to Creator, to the powers that be in the spirit world, etc. There's no difference between a small miracle and a big one. It's your perception of it, okay? They're unlimited over there, which means we're unlimited as well. So count your miracles every day and watch how your energy shifts, your vibration changes to a higher vibration. And as we know, the higher our vibration, the better life goes in all ways. Okay, so that's a Six of Pentacles. Okay, let's get some wisdom here from the Wisdom of the Oracle. What guidance is here for the end of the week from the Wisdom of the Oracle? To be fair. That's another thing I forgot to mention. This card talks about balance, okay, as well. In that it's a balance of the giving and the receiving, right? So if you've been a giver, it's time for you to receive. The opposite is also true, okay? This is also about, how do I explain this so that it makes sense? This is also to do with, I'm hearing it's about being owed. So in other words, if you're waiting for something, if you owed something like money or resources, the likelihood of you getting it is incredibly high. But this card is about balance, sharing, giving and receiving, getting what you need, right? And then to back that up, we have to be fair. And please notice the scales here, okay? So it's about fairness, obviously, balance. And Spirit is saying no judgment. This is a big one for the weekend, no judgment. So no judging yourself for where you think you've gone wrong, done wrong, no judging, okay? And also no judging other people either, right? So there's to be fair. Now let's get some further guidance from the Keepers of the Light. What guidance is here for all of us as a collective for the end of the week, please? Open communication, Mercury. Very interesting. The wording on the card says, get a weight off your chest, speak up with love and be heard. Okay, so this card talks about exactly that. It's about communication. What stands out for me is this medical symbol. I can see the word in my head, but I can't pronounce it. This here is a medical symbol. So this talks about healing. Okay, and healing about speaking your truth, being real, being authentic. So this has got a lot to do with relationships. Okay. Fairness, balance in relationships through communicating as well. So it seems like this weekend is a mixed bag. There's money going on, there's results going on, there's relationship healing going on this weekend. And I'm also hearing the word turning point. Turning point. Okay, very nice. Okay, let's get some guidance from the surrender cards. What do we need to surrender at the end of the week to make sure that everything is fair and open? What do we need to surrender in order to allow that? This one sticks out. Surrender to your soul's path. Isn't that beautiful? The wording says your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. And that includes no judgment. Okay, don't judge yourself for what happened or what you did or what they did or what they said. Don't judge it, okay? Everything is intrinsic to our learning as a soul, okay? Every experience, every challenge is a lesson. It's an opportunity for growth. So that does not mean that we can't feel anger. That does not mean that we can't have natural human emotional responses. That doesn't mean that. The point is, when something negative or bad, or however we judge it, happens to us, okay, we need to see it as, okay, yes, let's acknowledge my emotions. I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm blah, blah, blah. So we need to blah, 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 get it all out, okay? Okay, it's out. I have felt it to help it to heal. Now, let me look at it objectively and say, okay, what did I learn here? What can I take away from this experience? Did it teach me surrender? Did it teach me to love myself more? Did it teach me to raise my standards? Did it teach me to not maybe be so harsh? Did it teach me to not be judgmental? Okay, that's the lesson, right? And that is intrinsic to our soul's growth. That's very important. So just know that this week we are being guided, we are being led, we are being guided towards our highest and best outcomes, right? The universe is very supportive of us. We are loved beyond comprehension. I can tell you that. You are never alone. You have your angels, your guides, your spiritual team, your ancestors, all behind you, supporting you and rooting for you to get what you want to experience in your life. We are so, so, so supported, but we also need to get out of our own way and release the mental programming, the conditioning that has created certain events in our lives. Okay, we need to let the trauma go, the hurt, the pain, the suffering go. We need to let it go, because those things are like shackles on our ankles. They hold us back. It's time for us to move forward. And I feel like this week we're going to get a good shove. So expect yourselves to feel motivated, fired up, and like, let's do this. Okay. Bearing in mind, Spirit is showing it to me like this, like we're going on a map, we're going on a journey, we're going into uncharted territory, new beginnings. We've never been in this new beginning before. It's a new beginning. We're not sure where we're going, okay? Let the wisdom of prior experience guide you in this uncharted territory. And of course, take your compass with you, which is your gut, which is your intuition. That is your compass, and it points you to true north. And how the intuition often works is it'll lead you to what feels good. Even if your mind is going, no, this is going to fail, it's going to fall apart, your intuition will say, one step at a time, like a compass, like a GPS, one step at a time, and you'll get there. And that's you following your soul's path of what is good and right for you. So there you go, guys. Very, very interesting week. I hope that has helped you. And I hope that you have an amazing, amazing, happy, happy, happy week. Take care of you. And once again, thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and all the good stuff that you guys do. So sending you all lots of love, and see you again next week. Take care and keep well. Bye.